Hello, welcome to the Villages, Florida. My name is David. I'm a realtor with Florida Realty Investments. And if you have any questions on real estate in the Villages, you want to get a value for your home, or you're curious as to what a good deal might be in the Villages currently, please contact me at DavidisinFlorida@gmail.com. This is our weekly look at the real estate market here in the Villages. And as always, I would caution you to check that you're watching the most recent show. We produce this every Monday. Make sure you're getting the most recent information. The other point I'd like to make is that all of this data is from the MLS, the Multiple Listing Service. It does not include any data from the village's own internal VLS system. So let's begin. As is traditional, we start by looking at the total number of listings, which this week totaled 250 listings, the highest that we've seen since we started doing the show in April. Prices range from $159,000 to $1.999 million. The $160,000 listing is a manufactured home. If we want to take a closer look at these listings, we can break the listings down by price segment, and we can see that this week there is a listing for under $200,000. There hasn't been for the previous 3 weeks. In the most active price segment this week, there are 157 listings. Last week there were 144. The week prior to that, 134. The week prior to that, 133, and the week prior to that, 144. Once again, the $300,000 to $500,000 price range is the most active price segment in the villages. If we take a closer look at listings per square foot, we can see that this week the median listing price per square foot has dropped to $268.22, which is the lowest we've seen since we started doing the show, and down markedly from the almost $285 that we saw in the middle of the year. If we take a look at how long these listings have stayed on the market, we are at the higher end of the range. Currently, 45 days is the median time on the market for all listings, which is almost 3 times as long as we saw at the beginning of April. The number of properties that went pending is 22. The number of new listings is 31 over the last 7 days, and they ranged in price from $159,000 to $1.999 million. Taking a closer look at these new listings over the last 7 days, we can see that there is a listing now that has been added under $200,000. There's also one listing between $200,000 and $300,000. In the $300,000 to $500,000 price range, the last 7 days has seen 23 new listings. Previous 7 days saw 17. Prior to that, 11. The week prior to that, 12, and the week prior to that, 16. Next, we'll look at properties that sold and closed over the last 7 days. The number is 27. They ranged in price from $219,000 to $975,000. It certainly does appear as if activity remains subdued. A closer look at the properties that sold over the last 7 days, we can see that no properties sold between $100,000 and $200,000. In the most active price segment, the $300,000 to $500,000 price range, 18 properties closed over the last 7 days. The prior 7 days also saw 18 close. The 7 days prior to that saw 12, 7 days prior to that 16, and the 7 days prior to that 23. Another look at the properties that sold over the last 7 days. We're looking at the price per square foot. It was $260. It does seem as if prices are holding steady, although activity does seem to be diminishing. This is a look at how long properties that sold have remained on the market. Over the last 7 days, the properties that sold were on the market for a median 34 days, which is 7 times longer than we saw at the beginning of April, and we are still at the higher end of the range here. Returning to properties that went pending over the last 7 days, the median price on properties that went pending is $267.40. We're still holding steady, but activity is certainly diminishing. We are holding steady on the pending price per square foot here. If we take a look at how long the properties that went pending were on the market, it's a median 11 and a half days. We are at the lower end of the range on properties that went pending. This is an interesting graph. It shows the price change from the original listing price for the properties that went pending. The median price change from the original price is almost 8%. We're getting close to the highest percentage decrease that we've seen since we started doing this at the beginning of the year. And the last two items we look at are what percentage of properties have seen a reduction from their original listing price and what the reduction has been. Currently, almost 55% of the listings on the MLS have had a decrease from their original listing price. If we take a look at what the current decrease from the original listing price is, we're at almost 5.1% as the decrease from the original listing price from all listings. This data is the mean change from the original listing price for all listings currently in the villages. So that completes this week's look at the villages real estate market. Once again, I am reachable at DavidisinFlorida@gmail.com. If you have any questions on real estate in the villages, or you are curious as to what your property might be worth, or you're curious as to what to potentially offer for a property here, please contact me at DavidisinFlorida@gmail.com. Hope to hear from you. Take care.